welcome back to Mom Gone Mild, the podcast where we talk all things motherhood, womanhood, healing, growth, our past selves, just becoming the best versions of ourselves now. I'm your host, Lex, and today I want to talk about something that's really been on my mind lately, learning to love, myself, yourself again. Or maybe, more accurately, learning to respect yourself again. And guys, I know, not in like a cheesy Instagram quote kind of way. I'm talking about not like in a just be positive. I freaking hate when people tell me that, it's like I am positive. I mean, really learning to appreciate who you are after life changes you, after a big life change. And, before we jump into anything, I just want to repeat always, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not an addiction specialist. I'm just a mom sharing my story. Everything I'm about to talk about is based on my own experience, my own mistakes, my own healing, my lessons I had to learn the freaking hard way because no one, talked to me about it. I can only share my story. But, if something in my story helps you feel a little less lonely, then it's definitely worth sharing. Because if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you already know that this past year has changed me in so many ways I literally never expected. Motherhood changed me. Yeah, that's a doozy. Losing 57 pounds changed me. Postpartum depression changed me a lot. Healing has also changed me. And I guess for a while, I thought I was just supposed to find, the old version of myself again. But the truth is, I don't want that old version of me back. I've done a lot of work on this, and not because I just hated who I was, not because I became a mom. I freaking love that. And definitely not because I have any regrets. I mean, I have regrets, but it's life. You always have regrets. I love being Axel's mom. I love being Randy's wife. And even on the hard days, like now, I wouldn't change a thing. But yeah, motherhood is a major life change, and that makes you evolve. I think for a while, I was trying so hard to hold on to who I used to be and, who I am becoming now. It's two different versions, and they just cannot exist at the same time. So I had to just let go of that version of me. Not because, I wasn't enough, not because I don't know. That version of me got me to where I am right now. So, I'm just figuring out this season of life, all the changes since having Axel. I've lost 57 pounds. And if I'm being honest, that really changes something in you mentally because there are still days I look in the mirror and I honestly don't see a difference. I'll see a video of myself and I'm like, there's a lot we still need to work on, but trust me, the list is long. I have so many flaws that I see in myself, and because, I'm kind of on social media, the messages could be ruthless. Crickets, I know. You could have 100 people cheering for you, and one freaking criticism from one ugly ass guy ruins your day. But it's not going to ruin this. One thing that I've learned is that no matter what you look like, there's always going to be someone that has something negative to say. So if you spend your life trying to make everyone else happy, I can promise you, you're not going to be happy. And that's why progress, pictures matter, taking measurements matter. That's why paying attention to how your clothes fit really matters. Because sometimes your mind literally can take longer to catch up with you than your body does. I'm learning to just appreciate my body for what it is, I'm learning to appreciate the stretch marks. I'm learning to appreciate the loose skin, the saggy tummy. When I was younger, I feel like I would just bounce back. I lost a lot of weight. I would gain it and bounce back. The reminders on my body just, did something super incredible. For a long time, I thought confidence would come from a number on a scale. I still have that mentality, but I'm trying to change it. Confidence didn't come from losing weight. It came, I guess, from keeping promises to myself. I'm much more confident than I was a year ago. I'm showing up for myself. I'm making better decisions when nobody is watching, because I'm going to be honest, that is when it matters most to you. If you are doing things consistently hard, I promise you, it's going to empower you. It's going to make you feel like, wow, I am doing this for me. Like last week, I had my cheat meal as a churro, and I was like, I'm beating myself up, and I don't know. I've stopped looking for some magical moment where I suddenly feel confident. And I always say it, like, fake it. But, because every time I hit a goal, another one literally shows up. My mind just feels like, I don't know, like I still have more to change, and I'm just a work in progress. It proves to me that I can do hard things. That's what 75 Hard proved to me, that I should be proud of myself. I am proud of myself. It's not what shows up on the scale. I'm also a woman who refuses to quit. Yes, I'm like a little cockroach. And that's when I realized something, I'm not becoming like a whole new person. I am just leveling up. And as freaking corny as that sounds, I promise I'm just trying to become the best version of me. Because you know what? It's really comfortable to stay the same. Growth is not. And you guys are like, oh my God, Alexis, all you talk about is growth. But you know what? That's where I'm at right now. Just growth requires trying things when you're scared. I know growth requires becoming someone you've literally never been before, nor did you think you would be her. And maybe that's, what this season of life is for me. I'm not finding myself. I'm, building myself. I also think a lot about the fact that I became a mom at 36. Is that old? No. But, could life have looked a lot different if I had Axel younger? I mean, the answer is, of course, duh. But I feel like I had Axel at the right time for me, because it took me a while to grow up. It took me a while to heal. It took me a while to work through some of the things in life that hurt me, because my biggest hope as a parent has always, even before parenthood, I never wanted to like pass my baggage on to my child, not because, oh my gosh, she's so perfect, she worked on herself. Hell no, I'm far from it. But because I did the work, I went to therapy. I faced the hard truths that I didn't want to. I worked on myself. I'm still working on myself. I still go to therapy. I still have a psychiatrist. And while I know every parent makes mistakes, like I said, I just didn't want to hand him baggage that wasn't his. Of course, there are benefits to having kids young. Energy would be nice. There are benefits of having kids later. Wisdom is nice. Neither path is better. So that is not what I'm saying. We're all just living the life we've been given. Look, my parents had me really young, 17 and 18. I have so much respect for young parents, because it couldn't be me. I was bullshitting at that age, and even though like I feel like you do grow up because of it. It's still hard. Like my best friend, she's a young mom. She's an incredible mom. I look up to her. She's amazing. But we all have to play the cards we're dealt. The truth is, by the time I became a mom, I had already lived, like, I feel like a cat, like 9 lives. I went to the raves. I went to the mansion parties. I went to random Vegas weekends. I met the athletes. I met reality stars. I don't know, the late nights, when you go to work all hungover. I did that. I traveled. I got to go to Europe. I got to go, overseas, and I made mistakes. Yes, I learned lessons the absolute hard way. I feel like I squeezed every drop of like my teens, my 20s, and my early 30s. So when people ask if I feel like I'm missing out now, like the answer is honestly no. I just don't, like there are times I see my friends on social media and I'm like, okay, but I feel like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And honestly, that is also why I decided to get super serious about my health. Not because I wanted to be skinny, although skinny is gorgeous. Any weight you are, you're gorgeous, But it's not for like looking a certain way, but because I guess I am an older mom, as people say, I wanted to make sure I was active in Axel's life. I want to be able to run around, with him. I was really overweight. I want to, chase him around the backyard. I want to go on family vacations and keep up. And, I want to be a mom that's literally like playing, not sitting on the sidelines wishing I had taken better care of myself. And for most of my life, I never took working out or eating healthy that serious. I know. I'd start, I'd stop, I'd start again and stop. I'd make 1,000,001 excuses of why not. And most of the time they were lame as hell. I tell myself, I'll do that later. I'll focus on my health later. It never came. But, motherhood changed that. Because now I always say, like, I'm not just living for me. I'm also living for him. And to be honest, I don't know, if I'm going to show up for him every day, then I need to show up for myself. I know. Crazy. Who would have thought? I want him to have the healthiest version of me that I can possibly give him. Not the skinniest, even though I would love to be thinner. I mean, I'm a woman, who wouldn't. Not this perfect version of me, the healthiest version. The version that's present, the version that's here, the version that's able to enjoy this life we worked so damn hard to build together, me and Randy. And maybe that's why I appreciate this life so much. Because, I've talked about this many times, but I never thought, I guess, that I would make it past 30. And sometimes saying that out loud now, it's crazy, it's wild. But I've battled addiction. I've battled depression. And I want to be really careful talking about this because, addiction is something I do not take lightly at all. I was incredibly blessed to go to rehab one time and never went back again. The experience literally shook me so hard and just changed my life. But I know that's not everyone's reality. Addiction is super serious. It's powerful. And a lot of people battle with it for years. If not, they lose the battle. My experience does not make me special whatsoever. It makes me fucking grateful. I'm grateful that I'm here. I hit rock bottom and I came back. People ask me, how I got through my time. It's definitely not a glamorous answer. I guess I just wanted a better life more than I wanted to stay comfortable. So I went to the rehab. I attended meetings. I took accountability. It was a very humbling experience. I feel like I choose recovery every single day. I have never touched that stuff again, and nor do I ever want to. I have nothing in me that wants that. But you know what? Depression, I feel like depression hit me differently. Depression doesn't disappear because you want it to. Not saying addiction does, but for me, I've been hospitalized. I went under the 5150 and I've had therapists. I've had psychiatrists. I take medication. I still have my baby's crying. I pray. I work on myself every single day. And every day I make a choice because if I listen to my depression, I'd literally be in bed every single day, even right now. I'd isolate the hell out of myself. I would literally stop trying. Instead, I get up. I make the conscious decision because it's easy, but because it's necessary. If you've ever battled depression, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. The fight, it's not easy, but I promise you it is possible. Motherhood is hard too. it's hard right now. It's the hardest thing I've ever done so far. And half the time, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Half the time, I'm literally guessing. I'm running on very little sleep, if you can tell with my bags. I'm learning as I go. I make mistakes. Yes, I know. I'm a first-time mom. And every night I go to bed and I think, gosh, I hope tomorrow is just a better day. I hope I'm a better mom. And not because I'm a perfect mom, definitely not. I just want to be a better one, And honestly, that's how I look at self-love now too. I don't wake up every morning feeling confident or beautiful. I wish I did. That'd be nice. I don't wake up loving every single inch of myself. I have work to do. I still see a lot of flaws. I have to remind myself, girl, you're also a woman who has survived, a woman who has fought for her life. Because there was a time, I'm telling you, I didn't think I'd make it. And, I was able to deliver this beautiful baby boy. I've now lost 57 pounds. And I am a woman, though, who does refuse to quit. I'm learning to love myself again. And it's not perfect. If, I'm not going to think I'm going to be like the hottest person in the room. That'd be nice. But it's just being honest about who you are. Taking accountability for the things you need to work on. Yes, like I say, we're all always a work in progress, just recognizing how far I've come and continuing to push myself because I know I'm capable of a lot more. To me, I just feel like that's self-love, not perfection, not obsession. You can get obsessed with it, but it's just respect for the woman that I am now. Respect for the woman that I was, because that person obviously shaped who I am now. But because at the end of the day, whether you're a young mom, older mom, stay-at-home mom, working mom, we all have the same responsibilities. Give these kids the best life we possibly can. And the best thing we can do for them is keep becoming better versions of ourselves. So I feel like that's a good way to stop. But, you guys, thank you guys so much for listening to another episode. And honestly, thank you guys for just creating this just safe space for me to tell the stories. Thank you guys for listening, of course, because if not, who the hell am I talking to? Thank you guys for sharing your own stories with me. That means so much to me. I see the tags, I see the messages, and thank you for reminding me that none of us are alone in this. This little community has become something I never expected, and I'm so grateful for every single one of you. And, if this episode resonated with you, you're struggling, you're battling addiction, depression, you're just struggling through womanhood, share this. Maybe somebody else feels the same way. Share it with a friend, share it with a mom. And, it would mean a lot if you guys left a little review, and of course, follow the podcast on, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you guys are listening to it on. And it just truly helps because I get to tell my husband why I'm doing this so often. And, just remember, you don't have to become someone else. You don't have to become the best version of you overnight. Usually that never works. I've tried it many times. The truth is most just change little things at a time. The one workout you didn't want to do, you completed. The therapy appointment you definitely didn't want to show up to because you were so exhausted and all you wanted to do is lay in bed. I get it. The walk you took instead of staying on the couch, that I get. The choice to get out of bed when your mind just tells you not to and everything else just is telling you not to. But little habits, they really create changes and they actually create habits. And those small choices repeated over and over and over become just habits that your body just gets used to. So I just want you to give yourselves some grace, keep showing up for yourself one day at a time. As they say, platform means a lot to me. And yeah, Thank you guys so much and have a wonderful weekend. And like I always say, same time, same place next week.